The time has come for 5 red lights. 3 wide through turn 3. Oh, into the wall!
I knew this would happen. I knew they wanted to try something.
Hey, Yamara have gotten their wish. A 1-2 for the team. Another victory for VNT to put the cherry on top of their dominance. Good evening, everybody, and welcome along to Competitive Speed Series. We're here for the Texas Grand Prix, and let's head straight over to the standings. I'm joined by Ollie yet again this week. So, Ollie, welcome. Let's do your little bit first.
Just forget about me. Well, it's always great to be back here. Considering I never used to do this, but obviously here again, it's been a very one-sided season really so far as we head to the final 3 rounds of the Championship Console, and it looks almost wraps for SCI, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's guaranteed. I know we spoke pre-race or pre-stream, I should say, and I said they pretty much got every part of their body on that title or the trophy. They just haven't been able to take it away just yet. Ventari though and FRT. It's not done and dusted for second place.
Not a chance, because VNT last year round have been absolute powerhouses. Well, in Mexico it was all FRT with their 3-4, which clawed them right back to the back of VNT in the championship. But in the race before, it was all VNT, obviously, because they won in Spa, didn't they?
Yeah, it's not all been Shizou Cedar's way. These two have kept them honest, but just not at the same time. And it's if all 3 teams, I know OMB as well, if they'd all came together at every race to challenge Shizou may not have had the runaway that they've seemed to have this season.
Probably not, I'd say, because there have been instances where Onibi have been the better team, but at the same time, every time the other teams at least try to challenge, SCI is still one step ahead of them. You've got Baku for Onibi. They obviously got double podium, but Dirk still won the race. You have last week in Mexico where FRT 3 forward, and there was, I believe, Roman got P5 in the end, but even then, Shizou still got the 1-2, which put one hand on the title, a hand on the 4 fingers, say.
Yeah, pretty much. Bottom end, the business end of it, then Tatum, not real. Well, it's good for AMS, let's say, because AMS have got themselves off the bottom of the standings.
Yeah, it is, because obviously before a few weeks ago they said they'd wasted £20 joining in to the championship, obviously, but now not waste coming up right at the foot, but they also had a lot of bad rounds coming into last week where they finally got off the foot of the championship. But it could genuinely be a case of how they will do against VMV, who have brought Boy Lulu, who's a really fast driver, and Inwa, who can always battle around the midfield. So it'll be a question of how well them two will battle against each other.
Yeah, time will tell. Indeed, we've just hit the short qualifying notification up on the screen, but let's have a look at the calendar because, well, we know there's only 3 rounds remaining. Tonight is one of them at Texas. Then we've got Monza, the Temple of Speed, and if Shizou don't wrap it up tonight, which would be a bit of a surprise if they don't, Monza would definitely be a tricky one for every party involved, because while it's generally all about speed and pace and or out and out pace, it can be tricky for drivers, especially at the chicanes and trying to go. Some drivers try to go two by two into Ascari and stuff like that, and it could cause a few incidents.
Yeah, Monza, similar to this track, is quite windy, you could say, in the first and third sectors, with a lot of high speed and a couple of low speed corners. But at the same time, it's whoever's got the confidence to brake as late as possible at Monza, especially in qualifying, will be the one who obviously will show, right, they've got the pace for brilliant result. You saw it last season. We had, I want to say, oh Christ, I can't remember who won it last season, because I think I was on holiday at the time. But obviously, whoever it was, probably an SCI driver to be honest, can come back and do it again.
Yeah, to be honest, I've had many nights sleep since the last time we did Monza, so I'm not going to remember it, unfortunately, either. But the cars are getting out on track, and I suppose we should really see who and what they're all about this evening. There we go. Press the button on my Stream Deck, and it just didn't want to do anything. Early predictions for pole position in the chat, if you could be so kind to do so. Ollie, who do you think is going to take pole this evening?
Well, I said before the stream went live, I wouldn't be shocked if you see someone like Phil, who has got really good pace around here, but at the same time, you've also got to mention the people that are consistently fast, like Tech, Dirk, Christian, Melwin. You've got to factor in them as well. But it's also less of a wheel track, more of a pad track, more of a wheel track, considering the windiness of sectors 1 and 3.
Yeah, it's an odd one. It doesn't feel like it punishes the tyres as much as somewhere like Silverstone, or well, that front left of Silverstone. I think it's more, but it does punish the tyres a little bit more rounded through it all. But as a driver yourself, where would you feel that this track would cost someone?
Not a clue. I'm not very good here, but if you've got to assume, it would be sector 1 really, with all the fast left, right, left, but then also in sector 3, it would heavily punish the left side tyres around the triple right-hander, through the double right-hander at the start of sector 3, but also it can screw up the the left tyres because of the double lefters coming for cadence coming through here, and also the final 2 corners.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see how the drivers will handle the pressure here. Let's go on board with Phil then, who's coming through the very Maggots and Beckett-esque first few corners here at Texas, or the Circuit of the Americas. A driver that, on your hit list to do well this evening. So let's see how they can do as they head through the exit of turn 10 into 11. But heavy braking zone, turn 11, isn't it?
It's very heavy. Coming into it roughly about, say, 280 kilometers an hour. Schumacher's back in session now, but he'll have to serve a quality ban. But did you see turn 11? Did you say it was? It's heavy braking though.
Yeah, heavy braking 11 and 12, I suppose, as well.
12 is probably heavier, I'd argue, because of you come into it about 330 kilometers an hour, aren't you? So it's how they can brake and also the trail braking, because if you don't trail brake really here, you're just gonna go straight on and screw everything up.
And that's why I'm not a driver, I'm a commentator, because I can't trail brake even, not trailblaze, very well. I can't even say it very well. Tech goes quickest of all then, on 130.4 to start things off. Phil's coming around the final corner now. What can the IRT driver do in comparison? It's a 130.5, so not too far off, but Quantum has managed to get into second place.
Yeah, to be fair, it's not the front two I'd predicted immediately due to the fact they're both on pad, but must have got everything really knocked together, because Phil's lap didn't look the cleanest in second and third sector, sorry. But their first sector was obviously solid, but it's also got to factor in you can get a lot more grip on pad, considering everyone talks about pad grip these days, don't they?
Yeah, it's a lot more. I don't know whether the developers just find it difficult to even it out nicely between pad and wheel, but they never seem to succeed as Schumacher seems to be in the wrong car. Max van der Geest has invalidated their lap. What about Dirk, who's coming around the final corner? And across the line, Dirk goes quickest of all.
Yeah, it's what you'd expect from someone like Dirk. It's obviously the SCI 1-2 that everyone's dreaded this season after we've seen it 4 times, which I believe smashes the previous record, which is probably about 2. But even then, they still also got 8 race wins, which has beaten ET8 from Season 4 on PlayStation and TTMs from Season 3 on Xbox.
It's crazy how dominant Shizou have been at this season, and well, not just in competitive speed series. They've been pretty solid throughout wherever they've gone.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to sort this out with Schumacher in the wrong car. What did you say? Sorry.
It's just Shizou being as dominant as they are. It's not just here within competitive speed series. They've been dominant as a team throughout, like all like league racing, in general.
Exactly, yeah, because on console they have got a 100% championship record, whilst on PC I think they are probably about 50% due to the fact they've also been racing against esports teams. You can look at like Race Tech or something. They were just lost the championship to William by like 2 points around this track back in, I want to say, January.
That's mental to say the least, how close some things are going. But we're here tonight for what could almost guaranteed getting the title, especially with the 2 Shizou drivers at the top of the list doing.
Oh, yeah, exactly. It's just Van der Geest on the inside curb, going very slow on the penultimate corner. So.
Into the pits then for them. Schumacher just about to start a lap time in the wrong car, and we are restarting after quali, which puts us a little bit behind, I guess, but hopefully not just for the Schumacher thing, because that would be, I suppose, then you don't have the team possibly having a double stack on order. I would assume that would be the reason why.
Yeah, it would be the reason why. Also, because he joined into the session late, even after disconnecting, I think penalty's going to be much harsher because he's meant to be serving a quali ban after as well. Because if you join late, you do have to serve one.
Not ideal for Schumacher this evening and OMB in general, because their other driver, Leggy, in 10th place, a little bit off the pace.
Yeah, he is a little bit off the pace, but at the same time, you can't compare himself to the front 4, or even front 7 maybe. But it's not bad considering what's going on. Schumacher did invalidate his lap. I don't know if you mentioned that.
I hadn't, as I've just kicked the table, which has hurt my leg.
Oh dear.
Yeah, Ferrari getting out of the way of Schumacher, but I think Schumacher is going into the pits. I think he was just going out to set the to ensure the setup was locked in, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it seems like it, yeah.
Let's see, anyone else on a lap? Inward maybe, coming up into turn 1, just about to start a lap time. That was a bit of a scruffy entry into turn 1, pulling out to the right hand side to get to the left. You should probably put a bit of extra load on the tyres, that a bit unnecessary.
Yeah, it is. You just want to stay as far to the right as possible before turning in as late as you can. But a bit unorthodox, but if it works for him, it seems, doesn't it?
Yeah, each driver has their own driving style. As McLaren their teammate gets out of the way, Boyalulu. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you can give slipstream to your teammate down here, can't you?
I don't believe you can.
Oh,
because it's... Oh no, you cannot. There was a report a few weeks ago on PC. It will be a double quali ban if you caught, and it does involve a large amount of improvement.
okay, fair. As there is a car getting out of the way for, I think that's a Williams getting out of the way for Inward then. So it was a good thing That Boyalulu got out of the way then. And I must be mixing my leagues up with where Slipstream is allowed with teams and without being allowed in teams. Caden has invalidated. Melwin, are you on a lap? That was a very big cut there at the entrance to turn 7. It just shows that you can take a few of the extra risks here in Texas, but sometimes penalties will still, well, you can you can barely cut turn 12, but I think I'm trying to think of another one, turn 9 as well. If you even just marginally touch that white line with your outside tyres, then it really doesn't like it.
It does not indeed. You got Dirk on a lap. He was over a 10th up after sector 1. He gets the turn 12 cut perfect if you like, and he's still up by about 10th and a half now. Cutting turn 13 and 14 as tight as you can to be before coming into the next doubles set of corners, which is 15 and 16, before coming around the long, punishing double right-hander of 17, or 16, 17 and 18, before late braking, high speed, into turn 19. He's just about kept on track. He's going to brake about the blackboard around the final corner now. He's going to enable the DRS, and he does improve. He finds the 10th. He did lose a little bit in the last sector, it seems, though.
It's not ideal. Quantum is also up on their lap time as they head towards turn 11 and brakes heavily. Seems like a good swinging movement into there for Quantum, though. Currently P3, Phil in P4, and Gergo, good results qualifying so far for them, up into P5.
It is splendid for AMS, isn't it? Because if they want to catch VMV for 8th championship, that would be crucial. Max van der Geest jumped up to second ahead of Tech with what seemed to be a storming lap. I don't know how we didn't clock onto that. What happened to Melwin? Did Melwin invalidate?
Yeah, I think Melwin did invalidate. Quantum, though, is coming around that right-hander. The off the track for Quantum. That's not ideal, and that will be into the pits for the FRT driver, which is not ideal at all.
Not at all, indeed. I'm just watching some people on a lap. Botti and P15 are validated. Christian is down by a lot. Ledgy, I believe, might be on a push lap now, so we'll stay on board with him for now. Just so we've got someone to watch. He's currently in P10. He's not on a lap, he's down by 3 seconds. Ignore me.
Maybe Schumacher. Schumacher is out on track again, so let's see what they can do. Heading down the long straight for Schumacher as they head towards turn 12. It's not been an ideal evening for them so far.
Not at all. Obviously, different car. Joining late. Should be having a qualifying because they obviously did join late, but here we are now, unfortunately. Penalty could be extremely harsh post-race, or even between quali and race, because there's going to be a restart in there.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. No, nothing in the chat just yet to say that they are getting anything serious, but we'll keep you informed of what will go on there. Schumacher does only manage P11 out of that. Is Botti on a lap? No, Botti's into the pits. 4 minutes left of the session remaining, and at the moment, Dirk from Max van der Geest at the top. Melwin off the pace for the VNT team at the moment. Not ideal for them. Quantum is back out on a lap to, try and right the wrongs of that last lap where they went absolutely far too deep into turn 19 and cost them what could have been a very, very good lap time.
Yeah, but it's the brutality of turn 19 really is one of the hardest corners to nail. If you don't follow or don't carry the most amount of minimum speed you can, you're just going to really, really either wash out or not attack it as much as you like. But Quantum, either driver who will probably find a way to capitalise said minimum speed, and if he does get this lap together, he will be able to jump ahead of potentially Tech, and if his lap is good enough, possibly even Max van der Geest. Dirk I'd say looks a bit out of reach now, and I think it's his pole to lose.
Dirk is Dirk's the driver to beat the one. The one with the target on their back. Quantum definitely out a little bit earlier than everyone else. I wonder if Quantum could get caught by maybe some of the cars that are going to start their laps now. Look at the amount of cars that are coming out of the pits. Are we going to see Quantum get caught in traffic, or is Quantum doing what is very unusual for at Austin? Is a double installation lap. We have seen it a few times this season, but maybe Quantum is going for another installation lap. But the way that they set their up the final corner, I don't think that's the case, because they're absolutely powering down up towards turn 1, and there is a whole gaggle of cars waiting for them at the top.
Yeah, but he was lucky enough into turn 1 that the VMV and ART driver stayed enough out of the way, but it's all going to depend on the gaggle that's going through the S's right now. You got Red Bull right next to him, he passed him completely fine. You've got a Williams, I'd assume that's probably leggy, but he's managed to get through sector 1 cleanly enough. He's up by 3/4 of a tenth, which is really what he wants right now, because that will jump him ahead of Tech, but really it just depends how clean he can keep the rest of the lap.
There's still plenty of areas to lose time here in Texas as Aston Martin pulls to the left-hand side of the straight to try and get out the way. No, they're back onto the racing line. Now they go out of the way as well. But Quantum, through the tricky section of the end of Sector 2 and into Sector 3, there's going to be cars that could come a cropper here for Quantum. Drivers are getting out of the way, but I don't know, it feels like a bit of a mistake to come on this at this early stage at the final throes of quali.
Exactly. It also looks like going the last lap, he still had over 2 laps of fuel. So there's a chance he possibly had, I want to assume it's about 3.2 laps of fuel around here. 6 kilo, which is the second lowest. And he's gone a very good lap, Quantum, has he? Despite the extra bit of fuel, he's gone to P2. I'm going to keep an eye on Phil, who has invalidated actually, so we'll go to Dirk. He's 600th up off Sector 1, coming through turn 11 now.
Yeah, Dirk has to, well, I suppose has to respond. He doesn't, but it is always nice to throw the marker down, not get beaten, and then beat your own lap time, just to throw it at the rest of the grid. But you've still got the likes of Tech and Max van der Geest, who've been pretty quick so far. They can still possibly beat Dirk's time if Dirk's not careful.
Yeah, we got Van der Geest is coming from Sector 1 now. Tech is coming directly behind Dirk. So we'll keep with Dirk for now as we come through the penultimate corner. The checker flag is now flying. He's going to brake in the last corner. He's going to hug the apex perfectly. And he's going to come to the line. Does he improve? Does he find 700th of a second? We're going to go to Tech now. Directly behind him. And he's going to slot to P2 with a 3/10 improvement on his lap. Who is next? I want to say it's Inwa. It is Inwa. He finds a good amount of time. His teammate is invalid. So we're going to go to Callum, I want to say. Callum's on the main straight now. Go to 5th. He gets ahead of Phil, which is perfect for his situation. Christian's going to come to the pit lane now. You got Adrian on a lap. Quantum just come in. You've got a Ferrari of Caden coming to the line. He's ahead of Gergo, which is solid. Callum is going through the double F now for AMS. Brox is coming to the line now for IRT. He's going to slot into P12 with a 30.9. You've got a Williams who stopped on the exit at the final corner. And Van der Geest has come to the line. He was up by 200th of a second. He's going to come. He's going to go P3, just ahead of Quantum. Who's left to go to the line? Adrian goes to 6th. You got Schumacher still going on a lap. He's up by 2,000th. Callum goes to P14. So Schumacher's the last person to do a lap. Currently in P14 and invalidate. So that is qualifying all done around here.
It is indeed, as Dirk and Tech have continued the Shazoo trend of of being on pole, and another 1-2 for the Shazoo team. Absolutely incredible for those guys this evening, and obviously we'll have to wait and see how it will all pan out towards the end. But I've got a lovely, lovely black screen, so it's not going to show me the orders. So we'll just go down the order now. It is Shizou Dirk from Tech, Max van der Geest on the second row of the grid with Quantum alongside him, Caden and Adrian in the next row. Then you've got Gergo, Melwin, Phil and Botti rounding out the top 10. Then you've got Leggy, Inwa, Simba, Roxwan, Schumacher, Callum, Boyalulu, Christian and Beso rounding out all of that. No surprise poll. No Phil's down in 9th place. Not exactly where either of us were expecting Phil to be in, to be honest.
I thought it'd be higher up, to be honest. But it happened. It's the nature of COTA. A load of surprises have come, but to be fair, at the end of it, it's really not, because Dirk and Tech both managed to get their laps perfect, which is exactly what they need to just put the nail in the coffin on the championship, isn't it?
Certainly, and the Shizou have just proven time and time again that they're pretty impervious to pressure, and right now they're looking top. Well, but they're on top, and they're looking like they're going to claim the championship this evening.
Yeah, indeed. We have got the fake restart coming up, so who's going to cause the biggest crash is the question, isn't it?
Yeah, hopefully they'll just straight line turn one. Oh, there's a... Yep. Oh, God.
There goes down. Oh, my God. It's carnage at turn one.
Yeah.
It's even more. Someone just like clattered into Dirk again. But Adrian wins the fake Grand Prix.
What on earth? There was, when the front right tyre comes off the car and it's still attached, so it wiggles around. I just had it where that happened when they went into turn 3 and 4, but the tyre and everything got really big.
I know what you're on about.
And it took over half the track.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're on about. I've seen that glitch before. I saw it last game a few times. It's a unique one, that one, isn't it?
Yeah, I was not expecting that one. Right, while the lobby is being reset, we'll just hear from the sponsors, and then we'll go through the standings one more time, just for everyone's benefit to see what the importance is this week.
The
time has come. 4, 5 red lights. Three wide through turn 3. Oh, into the wall!
I knew this would happen. I knew they wanted to try something.
Yamar have gotten their wish. A 1-2 for the team. Another victory for VNT to put the cherry on top of their dominance.
Welcome back, and this is how the standings are looking right now as everyone is getting themselves back into the swing of things, and I say swing of things, into the right positions, as I think Callum, the host, is sorting that out. And before the 28 laps of the Mexican, the Texan Grand Prix, Shizou lead the way and could almost guarantee the championship well, they can guarantee the championship with a victory this evening. I think we're both in agreement, Ollie, that that's going to happen tonight.
Yeah, most likely. They don't even need to finish where they are as long as they don't. They've got it all wrapped up. But even then, I still think they've won it anyway because they've also got the count back over both BNT and FRT. So, really, it's all wrapped up. As long as at max, they can get outscored by 32. But it seems like they'll be outscoring by 32.
Yeah, it's mental how dominant they are. Then, well, I suppose the question is, can OMB get themselves into the fight for second place? They've dropped off. They were in there. They were even in second for a little while, but it's all come a cropper for them.
Exactly. They were into second because both VNT and FRT had a few sloppy rounds whilst they picked up a double podium in Baku and then also another P2 the race after in Abu Dhabi. But really, they got what they needed when other teams couldn't get that. But now other teams are getting their results. They're not getting the results they need because obviously they double DNF'd in Spa and then only got 19 points in Mexico compared to 51 for FRT and 25 for VNT.
And we've already spoken about AMS and getting themselves off the bottom of the grid, and VMV is next in their sight. But VMV also have that battle with IRT and RSC for P6. AERT, I think, may have guaranteed 5th place. Yeah, it's really close in that fight there.
Yeah, it seems like because RSC not only not being here this week, they also won't be here next week because they had picked up one race ban for the driver ban for Ray, but then also a double race ban because they went over 32 penalty points. And also, I believe there was also a double quali ban in there, which also counted over to a race ban. So they picked up 4 race bans due to the chaos to a single driver caused last week.
Absolutely crazy that it does mean that IRT VMV have a chance of getting some real big points over them this evening, and even to a degree AMS. All AMS need to do is take a victory, and they're right into the swing of battling with that big group there, and it's, I don't want to say I don't want to sound harsh. It's not impossible for AMS to take victory, but it's highly unlikely.
Never put it past them. Just never put it past them. They will find a way. They've done it before, they'll do it again.
Definitely. And maybe, who knows, maybe when maybe it could be you, Ollie, on the final race of the season.
Behave.
If that happens now, I just saying. No. So we are heading. Well, we're on to the circuit. We're waiting for everything to happen here. Chat, let us know who you think is going to take victory this evening. Ollie, if it's not Shazoo, who's taking victory?
I'm still putting money on Phil.
Phil?
Joking. I'd probably say Quantum or even Max van der Geest.
Yeah, it's not a bad shout, Max, actually. Having a stellar qualifying. I'm just going to have a quick look at the way things are. Adrian's a bit... I don't know. Melwin just didn't produce enough. Let's go with Melwin from P8 on the grid to take victory this evening. Yeah, it was a qualifying that some people didn't really come to the occasion for, but let's hope that they do in the race.
Yeah, exactly. It's a big ask for Melwin, but at the same time, he has got the talent to do it. It must have just been a sloppy couple of laps in qualifying, but you can't let that put it past him. He's got really good pay, deserve and to be in the team he's in. So hopefully he can flip it round, maybe even get the NC's third win and just maybe claw a few more points to keep VNT in the title fight.
We'll have to wait and see. Wouldn't it be a little bit of history if the two Shizou Cedar drivers take each other out at turn 1? I don't know if that's ever happened in competitive speed series before, where two teammates take each other out when they were just about to win the championship, but we'll have to wait and see. What are we expecting from this one then? A one-stop as per usual when it comes to F1 25?
Not too sure, to be honest. Sorry. Not sure, to be honest. But clearly, and most likely, will be the favourite strategy. A lot of people will be doing medium hard. You'll possibly be seeing a few doing hard medium. There are a couple, obviously, on the hards, but at the same time, a majority are on the mediums.
Yeah, it's looking that way for the time being. I wonder if we're going to see anyone crazy enough to use a set of softs. I don't think we will, because that would be rather silly of them, to say the least. We should be going. 2037 should be the start time, so hopefully they've hit the ready up button to get going for this one, and we'll have to see how it will all pan down. Can VMV take it? Oh, there we go. Cars are on the circuit and ready. 5 red lights here in Texas, and it's away we go. It looks like a pretty good start from Tech Brutal over from Dirk as they head into turn 1. Are they going to go side by side? They are, and there is going to be a bit more of a carnage behind, because I think that is Max van der Geest and Caden having a big battle between them. Quantum and Max van der Geest now side by side through the S's here, and this is going to be very tight, and there's a McLaren in the wall in the background with no front left tyre anymore, and I wonder if that's going to cause a virtual safety car or a safety car. I think that's a virtual for the time being, as Max van der Geest couldn't find a way past Quantum, back past Quantum, so Quantum has managed to gain a position.
Yeah, it's perfect. Generally, the thing that he needed most. He got into P3, but obviously to tell me, you did see Caden have a little bit of a sniff, and potentially even Tech, because they were 3 wide going into turn 1. But obviously happened, it's an unlucky crash for Boy Lulu, which is really what they don't need. You also saw a couple of people lose positions. I think Schumacher lost a couple, Simbarock lost a couple, but then you also saw people gain. You got Ledgy, Phil, Melwin gained a few.
Yeah, my guess has got a couple up, but still, Shizou leading 1-2. AERT Caden's had like you said, had a sniff, trying to find a way through. We're back racing again, and already bullying Max van der Geest, trying to find a way through. So it's Adrian trying to get through on Melwin as well. And I think that position has got there for Adrian, but Melwin up the inside, which allowed it. Max van der Geest has had an awful restart from the virtual safety car.
It's not really perfect. Caden got the up and under through turn 15, which is genuinely what he would like. You've got some people boxing, you got Botti in. I believe he might have damage, which is really not good if ART want to solidify their chances of getting P5 championship.
There's a little bit of squabbling between Leggy and Inwa. Inwa can't find a way through that Williams at the moment, but will want to find a way through sooner rather than later because of the tyre difference between the two of them. Inwa on a set of mediums and Leggy on a set of hards, wanting to go longer into this race and be more fighty towards the end of it. Adrian picking up a penalty. That's not ideal on lap 2. That's exactly the opposite of what FRT need.
Exactly. You got Max van der Geest going for a dive bomb into turn 11, but I believe Adrian probably got forced off a couple of times because there's no way you should be getting a 3-second this fast unless he's generally got maybe even a double warning. But there is a lot of squabbling going down into turn 12. You got Caden go for a dive bomb on Quantum. It doesn't look like he's going to hold it. Quantum's just going to stick his nose into turn 13 and 14 before holding off. He does hold it off, so Caden's going to have to wait a little bit longer. And Van der Geest looks like he's going to have a little bit of sniff, but he stays behind him, which is probably the more sensible thing to do. But it seemed that Dirk has already checked out a little bit, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think this is... it's very similar to Qatar in the way that if you've got a 1-2 at this track, you can use it to your advantage. Pull away a little bit. like Dirk has done, and allow the DRS zones to allow your teammate to catch back up. And there is more squabbling there between Max van der Geest and Caden as they wobble into turn one. And, well, Caden looks like they're willing to make moves and be as aggressive as humanly possible within the laws in defence as well.
Yeah, but at the moment, really, you had Caden being dive bombed by Max van der Geest, who is just really eager to get through Caden, because if they don't get through and get close to SCI, it's championship over, because at the moment SCI are going to get 68 points, which is the absolute maximum you get, and that would absolutely end it all for the championship.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And we don't want the championship over just yet, but I think we both know, I think it's going more than likely to happen. Simba rocks one, going up the inside there of Leggy, and even being on the harder compound of tyre, they've used that to the advantage, and Christian trying to get through on Leggy as well. Leggy looks like a sitting duck. I'm not sure what's happened to that car. I can't see any damage to the Williams, but the pace seems to have left them.
It does seem like it could be a potential for damage, which at the moment it doesn't like it does, but it could just also be there's no visible damage. It is also the fact of Christian is also on the medium tyres, which at the moment will be much faster, and Inwood did get through quite early and also the medium tyres, but Simbarock getting through could just be the fact of a lack of DRS or ERS for Inwood, but Late G is still being attacked a little bit by Christian, as Callum is also directly behind him for the AMS outfit. But the crucial point at the moment is Inwood's already been gapped by 2 seconds to Gergo, which is really not good, as it's the 2 separate trains from 1st to 9th and 10th to 16th.
Yeah, Botti all the way down. Botti maybe doing a weird 2-stop strategy, which probably isn't ideal. Inwa, as you mentioned there, stuck, well, 2 seconds behind, and how much of that was being held up by Leggy for those laps. And as we go towards the front, it looked like Quantum was going to have a little look, but Quantum doesn't have, their chief chief teammate this week. Adrian is a bit further down than David possibly could have been this evening, but we know how how good a driver David can be on their day, as we saw the both of them at Mexico last week really push it to Shizou.
100%. You can't count out Adrian though. He was formerly an ART driver, but he got into FRT off pure talent. He is a very fast driver. He might not be as good as Dawid, don't get me wrong, but he's still very much deserving to be in the position with him right now, team-wise and also position-wise, you'd say.
Yeah, definitely not. Don't count anyone out in that top set of drivers there. Caden is pretty much the odd one out, you would say, from the teams that are sitting in the top 7. Phil just behind, and now that is that's a dark horse if I ever really did see one, because they're on a set of hards. This race could really come to Phil later on.
Definitely. Most definitely, yes. He is sticking where he is on the hard tyres, which this early on, with minimal heat into it, staying just behind the back of Adrian and everyone else who's ahead of him on medium, and even ahead of Gergo who's on the medium behind him. He could be a huge dark horse for later in the race, for maybe even a late podium charge, which would be IRT's second of the season, due to Seb the win back in the first half of the season.
Yeah, definitely helped IRT with the points there, as battling still going on. Dirk and Tech really doing a good job of holding stations right now. Gergo still with a shout of it all, and Simba Rocks one definitely has a little bit more of a a bit more pace than in Inwa, but they're just falling away from the top 9, possibly because of the hards. But again, it could still come to them this race and get some more points as soon as those mediums start dying off.
Yeah, the moment the medium die off, it could be all over for Inward unless he goes for a little bit of an undercut. You could see people boxing about lap 8 or 9 on today's race. And for Inward, he would probably be looking at a more ideal lap 8, so he can maybe full push now and he'll have an undercut on the likes of possibly even Gergo if the undercut good enough, depending on when he boxes.
Well, we will wait and see. It's a little bit of a this is what happens at Texas sometimes. The circuit of the America, you can get these slipstream battles where the DRS trains where things don't usually happen until the pit stops come into play. Having a look up the inside was Phil, but nothing happening on this occasion. A really terrible camera angle view on Inward to try and see if they were going to have a move on it. Simba Rocks one. It wasn't. It just would have been nice to have a better camera angle that they gave us. Christian dropping away from Leggy now, so Christian's under fire.
Yeah, Christian medium have unfortunately come through the phase where they're starting to die. It's the same with Adrian, because now Phil within 3/10 of him. I've just really hurt my finger punching my wheelbase. But put that aside, Phil is only a couple of tenths off the back of Adrian, who is double the gap between him and Phil to him and Melwin. And here we are, turn 1. Phil is going to go for the move. That is the first move on the hards against the medium runner this point in the race. Now his challenge is going to be attacking Melvin, who is 8 tenths on the road. Callum did get past Christian for P13, which is some good points for AMS and a lack of points for a loss of points for CRT. And Botti down in P17 has also picked up a penalty, which is unfortunate for him.
Not ideal as well. Phil is proving that anything is possible right now. Adrian unfortunately dropping down. Callum, there's 2 breaks in this train now. Simba Rocks one to fight, slowly gaining on the group ahead, but Callum on those softs I don't think has a chance, unfortunately, to catch back up. But we'll stay on board with Phil and see what they can do. They've caught back up with Melbourne quite nicely after dispatching Adrian, so time will definitely tell. Time is definitely on Phil's side right now.
Yeah, exactly. And Schumacher seems to be attacking Christian P15. He is side by side through all the Titans with the corner. He's going to go around the outside of turn 15 and stick it to the inside for the triple right, and he's going to get Christian for P14. Phil up in P7 has caught up half a second to Melvin, which is exactly just perfect for him. And he's going to be within 2 tenths of him again. Are we going to see yet another overtake for Phil to turn 1? It could be unorthodox, and Adrian has been gapped. We have got our first medium runs coming to the pit lane. We've got Callum and Basso, both AMS and TRT drivers.
Not ideal. I think that's a bit early for the pit stops for the mediums. They're going to have some real nasty tyres towards the end of the Grand Prix as they continue out of the pit lane now, and they're going to be, I think they will be ahead of Botti, but some issues for them not being able to make it an extra lap or 2 on this one. Leggy now trying to have another look at Inwer, I think, but not on this occasion. I think it will all be fine through there as again, it's becoming a little bit of a stalemate until someone like Phil's tries to go around the outside of Melwin at turn 12, and Phil showing us that definitely he's got life in those tyres as he goes up the inside. There's a little bit of squabbling and barging between the two of them as Melwin is desperate to keep a hold of that position.
Yeah, he's holding it all the way around. Gergo did 3 seconds, which made me very sad, but Phil's going to have the inside into the triple right, and he's actually going to get ahead of Melwin. Is it time for the beep stand? He has a huge snap of oversteer. Go through turn 18 into 19. Are we going to see medium runners this? It looks like we got Tech and Caden in. Indeed it is. Are we going to see anyone else? We've got Melwin, who obviously had that huge slapper on the tyres, so could we see any more in? We've got some people. We got Christian, who was in the second or so train coming in, and he's going to be behind Basso and Callum, I believe. So it's a bit of a loss, but You got the likes of Caden and Melwin, especially Caden, which will be crucial. If you're going to get an undercut on Quantum, because he was houndering him a lot of the time, and Quantum, speaking of which, is also quite a bit behind Dirk.
Yeah, that's odd. As well, Dirk not pitting. It feels like a Shazoo teamwork again, allowing Tech to that first pit stop to undercut through the drivers, and then will they swap drivers around and let Dirk take the victory later on? We'll have to wait and see, but it feels like that's the case.
Yeah, exactly. We should see the final 6 medium runners pit in this lap. Potentially, considering both FRT started their own mediums. Considering how well they could have both saved. It seems like I would argue that Quantum would get the priority due to the fact he's also currently in P2, but it'll be about net P3 or 4.
Yeah, well, Quantum. I've seen Quantum. Let's go. Moving on to Quantum quickly. I've seen Quantum do this a few times. Go couple extra laps, and be really racy at the end, but it can be really detrimental to their overall race pace.
Yeah, exactly like you said, he has done that. He has stayed the extra lap, potentially giving Adrian a bit of a chance to push and try undercut some of the people, or he just thinks he's still confident because his mediums look a bit better than Melwin's did back on lap near the end of lap 8. But you've got Adrian and Gergo in the pit lane who are coming out now, and he has Adrian is allowed to do that. Technically, he's had a bit of a snap when doing it. You are allowed to cut the pit lane exit, so he is safe. You've got Callum, who is 6 seconds behind the pair of them, but crucially, Caden is still ahead of Melwin. Caden is still ahead of Melwin, but he's also only half a second behind Dirk. So the huge loser here is going to be Quantum. He could be potentially behind Adrian if he's not safe.
Yeah, it's very odd there. Keeping the pace towards Max van der Geest behind, but Dirk and Tech came out Dirk came out of the pit side by side with Tech from the pit lane. So that's from there, and again swapping positions between the two of them just to ensure that Caden stays behind as we go on board with Phil, who's fast approaching Quantum for P1. As does Quantum pit this lap. Quantum doesn't pit again.
Neither does Max van der Geest. We have got Inward though, who are coming in now. So one of the last 3 who were on the mediums to start the race have finally come in. So is this a plan? The Quantum's going to go for a bit of an overcut and have the advantage at the end of the race.
This is what I think. This is what I think is going to happen. Is that Quantum is going to be really racy at the end. They're going to struggle. They're going through the short-term pain now to go through. So yeah, it just seems like this is what Quantum's gonna do. He's gonna maybe not take victory, but maybe just shore up the fact that they're going to be really fast at the end when everyone else is going to be struggling on those tyres and being a bit more tippy-toey.
Exactly, yeah, because you've got Dirk and Tech. You'll have a 3-lap tyre advantage over Tech, Caden, for example, who are the Tech, Caden, Melwin, who are the 3 big runners, currently net 1 through to 4. Depending on when, obviously, Quantum and Max pit, we should probably be seeing one of them in this lap. And does one come in? We got Quantum coming in. Does Max van der Geest come in? Max van der Geest stays out. He's doing even more laps. And he's right on the back of Phil right now, who does get the DRS, who's going to try a bit to pull away from Max van der Geest. So we have got only one more medium runner to go. And then it's all the hard runners' turn to come back.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting that Max van der Geest has decided to stay out. But while they're in the DRS of the hard runner of Phil and using that extra pace and the everything about that, it's not a bad shout for Max to do that, and then they'll be racy come the end of the race. Quantum, however, has come out just ahead of their teammate, 3 seconds behind Melwin, but 3 laps fresher tyres, which I think could be really beneficial to them to the end of the race.
Yeah, it's just what he needs. He's got a bit of a gap to catch up, but the moment he catches up, it is all over for them 4, you'd say, because it's 3 seconds to Melwin, but then they're all nose to tail, you say, and also with the leaders, Max van der Gies is not losing out to Phil in the slightest, so the gap is still staying a very comfortable gap, but all depends obviously on the third sector, and depending on Max van der Gies if he boxes, because there is a very high chance he does box.
Yeah, it surely is Max's turn to pit there. They're struggling through turns 17 and 18 there. This surely is pit stop territory for Max van der Gies. Yeah, pulls over to the left-hand side and into the pits for the VNT driver. I'll be interested to see where they come out in the with that and Quantum, who was just behind them on Quantum was just ahead of them, sorry, on track. Gergo picks up a 3-second time penalty, which is possibly making you even sadder, unfortunately, as they follow Adrian and Quantum through. Here is Quantum, just massively ahead of Max van der Gies, but Max van der Gies cuts the corner quite. Cuts the corner, cuts the white line exit from the pit lane there,
which is allowed. That's also going to second offence for penalty, so he's now got a 6-second as well. But Max has majorly lost out. He was obviously in the running for a top 5, and now he's currently behind a lot of people who have boxed a lot earlier. So he's looking at currently only potentially a P8. But obviously, you have got people ahead with penalties, and you've also got to take into advantage the fact he's got much fresher tyres. He stayed out very long on the mediums as well as Quantum, who, speaking of Quantum, is actually not really gaining on Melwin. It could also be to the fact that he's got no DRS, and Melwin does, because he is really losing out almost everywhere.
That's not ideal. Through this, Schumacher is 3 seconds in front of Dirk. We're surely so if they made it 10 laps, we'll be seeing the hard runners pit on lap 18, I assume, from my very poor maths.
You could see end of 18, yeah, but you would also see some of them going to potentially even 19 to try have a bit more time to push on the medium, because obviously the fuel will be lighter. The fuel amount will be lighter, so they won't be carrying as much in the car, so tyre wear shouldn't be as brutal, it seems, because the car can just go straight through around corners like it's nothing.
Yeah, let's well, time will tell through all this. Gergo's dropping behind Adrian. The gap, he's struggling, Gergo, unfortunately.
Fortunately, yes. Fortunately, yes.
I feel like I should stop asking you AMS-related questions, because you might... let's go on board with Caden as they're trying to find a way through Tech Brutal, because we don't want Ollie sad.
Don't want me sad indeed. But Caden is doing exactly what he needs to do. He's currently running an EP3. Melwin is staying where he is as well, which is really, really considerate to ART if they want to get some money come season's end, and it seems like they will if they can see what they're doing, because what they've done this season so far is what a lot of people would not have expected of them. They have come in here and been consistent all the way through.
Yeah, they have indeed. It does feel a bit Noah's Arky, the top 6. 2 IRT, 2 OMB, 2 Shazoo. Usually you'd have Shazoo at the top of that table, but obviously the top 4 have yet to pit, so don't panic if you're a Shazoo Cedars fan. Schumacher now 1.4 seconds behind. Quantum slowly catching up to that front, those top 4 net leaders, so to speak, as Max van der Gies is the quickest of all after dispatching of Gergo. But yeah, Quantum, it was 3 seconds, it's now 2.3. It did go as low as 1.7, but with these hard runners going to be like held up a little bit with the OMB drivers, it could be a time for Quantum to really turn up the heat.
It would be a time to wriggle on 100%. Quantum is going to have to clean air all the way through the third sector. And if you can get past Schumacher as early as possible, it'll be good, but it's also dependent on what Tech does. Tech has been gapped, which is crucial right now. So what Dirk needs to do is get past E, and the moment Tech gets... And speaking of Dirk, he's lagging on my end, I think, so it might be my internet. But he's done what he needs to do, he's got past one, and Tech has actually pulled right up to the back of Schumacher, which is good for his own situation. And he's also trying to pound Lecino for a P3 on track.
Yeah, and you wonder if that was a ploy from Tech just to hold Caden up a little bit at the exit or at turn 11. But both Dirk and Tech need to desperately get past these OMB drivers to ensure that they have no issues. As well, Dirk's going to get through quite easily, but Tech might have a little bit more of a difficult battle because Schumacher does have DRS to their disposal, and Tech nearly collects the back end of that Williams, because we've got two different Williams liveries on track right now, likewise with the RB cars. But Tech is going to be stuck behind the two OMB drivers in this tight, twisty sector. Does Dirk hold back and help out their teammate, or does Dirk bolt?
I reckon Dirk bolts, because Tech will have double DRS. He'll have a double toe and double DRS, I think. Maybe not double DRS, but he'll have a bit of a toe off of the car in front. He's going to have a little bit of a look into turn 11. Now, he's got, admittedly, I want to say a bit less battery, but he's also going to have the fresh tyres, meaning he can just brake as late as he wants and not risk anything into turn 12. Which it seems like he won't. He's actually off the battery now. He's going to go around the outside potentially. Schumacher can move to the right. Is he going to try and hold it? Is the right tyre still there? Right tyre. He's going to go to the inside now, into the very next corner. And he's going to dispatch of the first of two O&B cars. So, is this a chance for Battling to go ahead as Caden is also battling himself around Schumacher, and next is Melvin for Schumacher. So, really, it starts to look a bit lost for Onibi now. They are going to be looking at boxing in the next 2 or 3 laps, and now even Melvin gets past Schumacher, so it's just losing out even more. And Quantum, due to all of this, has caught up now.
That's incredible right there, and Melvin had to get the elbows out to get it done. And AERT is, Caden is having a real squabble now with Tech Brutal as they come through. Has Tech got anything in reserve? Tech has lost net P2 to the AERT driver.
This is really, really good for ART now. It could be their third podium in season, I want to say. I'll go double check now. This would be indeed their third podium season, with them all being collected by, I believe, Caden as well. So he's proving to himself that he is the heart and soul of ART this season.
Yeah, that's great work from Caden, and Tech will be thoroughly frustrated with all that. Quantum up the inside of Schumacher, making sure the move was done, and maybe allowing a chance for Adrian. Botti picking up a penalty there as well. Caden going for a move on Leggy as well. Dirk, I think, has been given permission to leg it from Shazoo, because all of a sudden, Caden, could we see a surprise victory from the AERT driver this evening?
Potentially. It could be a potential surprise victory. It would be, I would like to assume they leave a fifth different win of the season, it will be, behind Shadoo, VNT, FRT, and also IRT. So, if Caden wins, it'll be nice, but at the same time, Dirk is going to want to just go. He's also got the lot over Caden on the tyres, and Leggy is in for the first for hard run. This is roughly the time you would see them in. Maybe the end of this lap as well, to give them 10 laps to just go.
Schumacher dropping down the order even a little bit further. Max van der Gies getting through as well in all that. Phil and Simba Roxwan doing a good job of holding the time to Dirk behind as well. They've held their tyres a little bit better than the OMB drivers had through this sector of the race. And Tech now, without Dirk to help them out at the front. A bit struggling maybe, but it looks like actually they could get back into the swing of things with Caden, because Caden doesn't have DRS to help them either. So it's going to be interesting how this one continues to play out as Quantum looks to the inside of Melwin, but nothing doing on this occasion. Quantum's looking really racy, goes to the now outside of turn 13 and 14, and this could be what we were expecting from Quantum, and a bit long-winded, but very good move there from Quantum in the end.
Yeah, they're still battling around the triple right hand. Melvin's going to do that little bit of contact. Maybe he did cut the corner around turn 17, and he's going to just about get into now what will be net P4. The Power of Friendship team in IRT have finally got their first drive into the pit lane with Simbarox 1. Them two have been perfect tonight. So it's really, what will you see from them on the medium tyres, especially Phil, who was proven already from the first stint that he could just go. Because he was very fast on the hard start against some of the medium runners.
Phil, well, time will tell for Phil. It'd be really interesting to see how that one pops down. Tech has decided to bomb it a little bit, but that's Quantum getting through on Melwin as well. And, well, I'm going to stay on board with Quantum, because this could be a great result for the FRT driver.
It would be good. It would be very, very good. And Gerger's picked up yet another penalty. Does he want to make me cry? It seems like he does. But let's just sidetrack that for now. Quantum is within DRS of Tech, who does not have DRS on Caden. And even worse for Caden, he doesn't have DRS on Dirk, but it seems like he might get it. So if Dirk's win for the first time in race, potentially in question, would you say?
I think possibly. And not maybe from Caden, but also possibly from Quantum as well. The Shizou drivers that were doing so well are all of a sudden a question mark.
Not anymore, it seems, because Dirk has actually slowed down. He did go from about second ahead to only 310, but it has allowed Tech to catch back up, which is a bit sneaky, but it's not illegal. You can do that. So he's helping Tech to also defend from Quantum, and now Phil's in. So he's going to be a mad dash to the end of the race now. So the question mark of Dirk's win is still over his head, but he's now also got a bit more backup from Tech. So losing Tech could be a loser early in the race, but now it could be genuinely what it needs. And Phil has come out directly ahead of his teammate. So provisional top 10, but a lot to come from them too.
Yeah, definitely two to watch. Simbarox 1 and Phil. Definitely Quantum still to watch from them, and Max van der Geest. The two VNT drivers swapped positions down the start-finish straight as well. So Max van der Geest getting into the swing of things. So that will be an interesting watch as well. But Quantum and Tech, this is going to be interesting. Just behind, I think Melwin may be struggling, and that could be crucial teamwork as we just see. Is there anything on Tech Brutal? And there's a change for the lead as well. My goodness me, Dirk is hanging on the outside of ART Caden. This squabbling is still going on between the two of them, but Caden can't make the move. That occasion, Dirk holds to the inside as they go to turn 16. Is a switchback available? It isn't, and just behind, Tech and Quantum are going at it as well.
It's who's ever battle for two crucial position comes race end, but still as it stands, SCI is still going to be collecting about 63 points, which is just well over what they need. They don't need to be outscored anyone. They need to be outscored, and it seems like at the moment they're not going to get outscored. They are still the leading team in this race, and Caden is now under a little bit of pressure from Tech. The gap is a bit closer than it was, and Simba does get the fastest lap. So IRT are now going to prove they are the team to beat as Phil as they caught 3 seconds to the back of Gogo. And it looked like they made a bit of contact into turn 1.
That's crazy. As we'll go on board with that, because both the IRT drivers looking very, very racy. I know the lead might change, but these two look almost certain to overtake an unnamed driver in P8, because I don't want to upset Ollie. But here comes Phil. It looks like it's more a case of a done deal. DRS zone has been, or the activation zone has been passed from these two. And look at the grip distance between Phil and Gergo. And here comes the IRT driver flying on past. And I think Simba Roxwan will also do the same thing.
I hate you at times. And yes, Gergo does just hand the position to Simba Rocks, which is probably the nicest thing to do this time, because them two are just going to storm away. And I think Gergo knows that. So his best bet is just try hold on to the likes of, probably, I'd say about P13, I think he's going to get after all the penalties, but it also could be dependent on what happened in maybe the steward's room, because it was very barge earlier, but it seems like it's all calmed down. But Max van der Geest is still staying with Quantum who's still staying with Tech, who's still staying with Caden, who's still staying with Doug. It's a huge train at the moment. And then we've got a new fast lap for Phil, and Max van der Geest is going to go for the inside into turn 1. There's a little bit of contact, but I think Quantum will just about hold on, and Max will have to have another chance elsewhere. But is that the first threat for maybe Quantum now? Who has picked up a penalty, which is just not what he needs at all.
Is horrible news for FRT and Quantum, and I don't know if it's just on my screens or not. It's looking a little bit cloudy. It wasn't this cloudy a few laps ago. Could something else happen here? Leggy picking up a penalty as well as they coming down the start-finish straight. That's not start, the back straight, I should say. As they head in, as again, it looks like a little dive to the inside from Caden, but nothing doing on this occasion. Dirk, with that fresher tyre by just a lap, is enough to hold things up at the moment. Max van der Geest, though, this is going to be an interesting one. Will something go up the inside? They will try. There's a contact between the two of them, but nothing on this occasion. Lap 28. And, well, what was a little bit of a problem at the start, I think now we're not going to see this DRS train niceties. Drivers, they're going to want positions.
Exactly. Because Doug needs to be careful, because last time he pulled the gap this big to Tech, or Kane pulled the gap this big to Tech, he lost out. So now Doug needs to do what he did a couple laps ago, slow down a bit, and let Tech at least stay close, otherwise he might not even get a podium. Considering Max van der Geest is on 4 lap fresher hard, and only a position behind Quantum, who's the driver behind him.
Yeah, well, it's really interesting. Well, I say it's really interesting. Look who's just joined the fun to Adrian. It's Phil and Simba Roxwan. And up the inside from Quantum again is Max van der Geest, and no love lost between the two of them. Oh, goodness me.
No. Oh, that will 100% look like they're still argy-bargy. He's pushing him to the very edge of the track to the inside. And he's still going. It's going to be mad defensive. And he's going to outbrake himself potentially. They are still colliding. Could this allow Melwin a little bit of a chance? It does seem like it won't. But is he going to have a look? No. Max van der Geest is going to go deep again. These two are still going to be scuffling. Even more contact. And they're still going. This is absolute cinema, you could say. And Max does get ahead, but that will 100% be looked at from both teams. Max for his over-optimistic dive bomb potentially, and his penalty removal, and Quantum for just defending like a moron.
Moving swiftly on, it has allowed Dirk and Caden and Tech to pull away a little bit. Max van der Geest and Quantum would have done their tyres. No help there as Melwin has a look. And here comes Phil up the inside of Adrian there. There's nothing Adrian can do. And Phil looks very, very racy.
He's in his position right now. And Adrian can let past Simbrox as well. So IRT are going to be trying their best. They are probably ahead of RSC now in the championship, considering they've taken a points deduction and are not racing. So it's some big points. I believe it's about 26 points, I think. IRT are gaining on them, and potentially even the fastest lap. But Phil is staying very close to Melwin. I don't think he's going to go for a move here, but it is very likely into turn 12 that he will get it done. He's right on the back of him, and Melwin doesn't have the greatest of toes. from Quantum, and Botti does steal away the fastest lap point from IRT, but it means nothing because Phil's going to go to the inside, and there's even more contact on the straight. They just can't drive in a straight line, and Phil is going to brake late enough and hold his position. They're wheel hooking. This is genuinely not what you like to see, and there is a penalty again. So VNT's race go back from bad to worse, and it looks may as well drop it. Look at Simba goes to the inside, in the corner right behind him, and it's just almost wrapping it up for FCI this season at this rate.
Yeah, it looked like Simbarox 1 was going to collect their teammate at that point, though. That was would have been a very, very horrible situation if that was to happen. Caden dropping away from Dirk now, which is not ideal for them in their battle through this. But yeah, interesting squabbling away, but Phil still the driver to watch out for right now.
Exactly, 100% the fastest driver at the moment, and he's with 4 attempts of Quantum, who he doesn't technically need to overtake, but if he wants to have a late dash at the podium, he needs to get past him ASAP. He doesn't have DRS from Max van der Geest, who also doesn't, and this Caden's penalty now. Oh dearie me, it's all over now. Caden can still potentially get a P3, but with how Phil's going right now, it doesn't seem like he will. But P4 is on the card, and there is a lot of wheel locking from Phil into turn 11, and he's going to get DRS into turn 12, so he's going to get yet another position past the FRT driver Quantum, and they are squabbling for the lead in the race are they right now, and Caden's going to go for a switchback. It is pandemonium right now all over the grid. Caden is still staying right with him. Could we see dive him into the double left? Caden is off the track, and it's just like, don't worry.
It's terrible camera angle journeys as well for the battle for the lead. Phil has got dispatched of Quantum as well. Max van der Geest is next up on their hit list. Simba Rocks 1 is up into P7, and with penalties coming through, that'll all change. This is the penalty situation. 3 seconds to Dirk, 3 seconds 3 seconds to Caden, 3 seconds to Max van der Geest, 3 seconds to Quantum, 3 seconds to Melwin, 3 seconds to Adrian, 9 seconds to P10, 3 seconds to Leggy, 6 seconds to Christian, 3 seconds to P15. Basso has 6 and Botti has 9 seconds as well. A mental amount of penalties this evening so far, but it will change the whole landscape of this one with lap 26 of 28. Plenty still to happen.
Seems that Phil's tyres are dead because he was within about a second of Max van der Geest, and he's now 1.3 behind. So could it be the mediums are now officially dead? Because Simba isn't any close to Quantum. But if IRC want to pick up yet more points, they need to be there. But it seems like they will get the penalties off of Caden and Max, and these are Caden, they're still squabbling with Dirk. So not yet could Dirk win this race on track, but after penalty, he most likely will.
Yeah, there's still obviously a steward's room inquiry that we're pretty certain is going to happen this evening as well, to really change the landscape of it all. But right now, Tech Brutal and Dirk are going to bring home the championship for Shazoo Cedars, as we enter the penultimate lap here in Austin.
Put aside what happened with Phil, he is still within 1.1 seconds now, because they're all battling really, aren't they? The top 4. So he's not fully gone yet. It is for an on track with it's gonna be sticking in. Speaking of my lag, the moment everything gets excited, my lag kills it all.
It's a frustrating lag, you gotta love it. This is going to be interesting again. Max van der Geest all over the back of Tech. We know how racy Max has been this race, and getting very close. There's a yellow flag. There's an incident behind with Christian and Callum. More heartache for AMS, and defensive from Tech Brutal as they head into turn 12. And that allows Phil within the DRS range of the drivers. Tech pulls to the inside to cover off any attack from Max van der Gies. Will they do the same again as they head towards? They do, but Max is throwing the car up the inside there, and Max is no stranger from doing that.
Exactly, they're still battling side by side. Tech is going to be safe and back out of it. Until the contact mate, speaking on contact, they do still manage to collide. There's on a part of the track that's nearly straight. With only one lap to go though, Dirk has just got to take it home. And it'll be yet another 1-2 and yet another win for Shazoo Cedars on what could be a generational night.
Could be indeed, as around the outside Tech goes on Max van der Gies. There's 4 lap difference on these two drivers. Tyres life. So, well, Tech will have to be careful with them because they don't want them to go pop. Simba rocks one up into P7, but that will be P6 at the absolute minimum when penalties are applied. Great drive from them. Phil all over the back of Tech. It's not over yet on lap 28. Dirk and Tech just need to keep it clean. They're going to get another 1-2, but my goodness me, it's not been easy.
The 1-2's not, I would definitely say the 1-2's not confirmed yet, because Phil, with what seems to be a bit more of an ERS offer over Tech right now, and I don't think he'll get him, but if he does get him, it'll be his second best result for IRTFC. He's going to have a little bit of a sniff maybe, but it's not going to come to anything. But we're going to go to Dirk with only 1 second to go, really. It's just all over for this championship now, isn't it?
It certainly is. It's been a great drive from Shazoo all season. Dirk, even this evening, has just proven why they are in a top team with top drivers. They have produced when it matters. They've kept cool under pressure, even when Caden was all over the back of them. Max van der Gies will get close to the back end, but Shazoo Cedars takes another championship, and they've won it with a lot of with 2 races to spare. Tech will be bringing home a P2, and my goodness me, Phil is in 3rd, and Simba Rocks 1 is in 4th.
It's genuinely exactly what they need right now. Caden's penalty is obviously going to hurt him a little bit. He just misses out on only a podium to He was only about a second off from getting a podium, so that penalty really did change it. But I don't think they'll do that much. Unfortunately, the gain on IRT is absolutely monumental. They've picked up about 47 points tonight. But let's not put our eyes on that. The big winners tonight are SCI, who have picked up 67 points due to their pole position and their 1-2. And they are fully deserving of being champions tonight, aren't they?
Oh, certainly. What a race from the Shazoo drivers. Even when it looked a little bit scary or hairy for them, Dirk was calm under pressure. And, well, we see them do Dirk does a little bit of breakdancing on the podium. And, fully deserved breakdance as well. But what a race from Dirk. And you know what? We thought that maybe they had a problem, but they were just helping the team out. Cool, calm, under pressure. Absolutely phenomenal from Dirk tonight.
It's perfect for him. He genuinely fully deserved to win come the end of it, and I'm not too shocked that he did come away with the win. Gogo, despite retiring, did get, technically retiring, still finished P12, I want to say, after it all, due to the fact he's still 19 seconds behind after all the penalties, which is heartbreaking, you could say, but at the same time they still gained a bit further away from TRT, which is not bad, but it could be generally better. IRT 3-4, considering where they qualified, it's genuinely, absolutely impressive. They went for an alternate strategy that they absolutely aced.
Did a really, really good job this evening, haven't they? And, the driver of the day, I think, was given to Simba Rocks 1, I think. But for yourself, who do you think was who should be classed as driver of the day?
Dirk any day of the week. Managed that race perfectly. He came away with the win, and he fully deserved to get the win. He got pole, held on at the start, and then the moment he got away and had a bit of a chance no one else could really get to him, could they?
No, Dirk was that was a phenomenal race from Dirk and held really well. And I think I said under pressure, just it didn't show any pressure at all. It just a normal Sunday drive. It felt like for Dirk, but you can't take it. Well, I agree. Dirk definitely driver of the day, but both IRT drivers, what a result for them.
Yeah, the moment I saw Sim Ross with P4, my hands were on my head. I didn't think he had the gap to get Caden. But obviously he did. He got P4, which is IRT's best finish for 2 drivers this season. Which, considering how they did today, if they'd done that over the entire season, would be definitely up there with the likes of maybe even VNT. But unfortunately, they weren't. But today, they completely showed that they fully deserve the results they got. Well done to the pair of them. And they can come away from tonight with a good chunk of points.
Indeed, that is round 13 over and done with. It was unlucky for VNT and unlucky for FRT as number 13 always is, but it wasn't unlucky for Shazoo. They've taken the championship with pretty much ease. We're off to Monza next week, we mentioned at the beginning part of this stream that it's another tricky circuit for the guys.
It is tricky considering the braking loads, but there's also some corners which aren't the hardest. You've got the likes of turn 1, 2, which dependent on your wings and your setup can be really difficult if you brake too late. But at the same time, if you brake too late and get the trail braking right, like always, you can get in through turn 1, 2 with a very good end of sector 1 time, which could be the huge game changer come the end of the race. Come the end of qualifying, sorry.
So it always generally produces a good race as well. I can't see anyone from Shazoo or anywhere to come in for the waiting room to have a chat with us this evening. Hopefully we get one soon enough for the now champions again of Shazoo as Cedars, who have just been absolutely phenomenal. Ollie, any final words from you this evening?
Not really, no. Here, saw what happened. I'm not too shocked with the outcome of the race, obviously, but at the same time, there are some results that definitely surprised me. But like I said earlier, that's what happened with COTA. It's not the perfect race. There's always something that's just upside down.
And that's great. It's great to see IRT do so well, and the drivers, multiple different strategies on offer for us this evening. It didn't work out for Quantum, who pitted a bit later, or Max van der Geest for that matter, but it did work for the 2 IRT drivers who absolutely stormed through the field. It also worked for Dirk, who took victory and gave the points to Shazoo to take victory. But for this evening, that is us done. We're back next week for an Italian Grand Prix in Monza. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.